Hello, my name's Sam Surplice. I'm a senior animator at Agora. I've worked on feature films, games. I worked at Sony for 3 years working on Spider-Verse, Hotel Transylvania, and The Sea Beast. And yeah, today I'll be working with Marionette to pose extract and capture certain performances from my video references. Hopefully by the end we'll get a nice stylized blocking all the way from motion capture to a presentable blocking stage. What will happen is you'll see that certain things have been sped up in terms of process. First thing I'm going to do to get my reference footage in, I'm going to have to go down to this little red button here. It says import videos. I find my reference footage of my performance, load it in. As you can see, here I am looking left and right and in a bit of a shock. This is the take I want to have. Ideally, you'd want to calibrate using a T pose or an A pose in my reference footage, and that will work. And it also calibrates the floor I'm standing on. So the software knows where the floor is in relation to me. I'm gonna mark in and out with keys I and O on your keyboard. And I can mark it in whenever I want. With this specific clip, I like all of it, so I'm gonna mark all of it in and all of it out. So now I'm gonna drag the video frame to the timeline. Here, I'm zoomed quite out, so I'll zoom in. And as you can see here, it's already pre-rendered the whole take and plopped it onto my character here. I can lengthen and shorten my clip and cut it up here, all in Marionette. So no need for any third-party software for video editing of my footage. All right, and to clean it up, I navigate here to the little man with the line underneath him. Make sure I've got footlock on, body, fingers, wrist. So what I'm going to do is click clean motion. So we have our motion now with the footlock applied. Basically, where the white solid lines are is where the foot is totally locked, and the gray line and tick mark is showing the transition between that and the motion that's extracted. What you can do is adjust each one depending on your needs. Use the pose extraction tab, and what this does is take what it perceives as the most extreme poses as key poses and then breakdowns in between. And these are based on hands and feet, how extreme they move in comparison with each other. So I just hit extract and it will do the entire selected region. And as you can see here, it's got the body, left hand, right hand, together with the footlock that we've just done. And the long ticks, the key poses, and the small ticks are the breakdown poses that Marionette has perceived on its own. What Marionette has given me is great, but for the style we're going for, I personally would like to pick and choose every single keyframe and breakdown myself. So I will go ahead and delete the poses that Marionette has given me and go in and fully customize what I would like. So what I'm going to go through here and decide which ones are my key poses, and then we can figure out our breakdowns. You can also use K and B, the K and B diamond buttons up here for key and breakdown. All right, we can go in now and then get our breakdowns. I'm using key and breakdown more like golden poses and keyframes. Breakdown is pretty infinite. You can break down as much as your heart's desire. And then I'm going to start to anchor specific points that I find are necessary. So the look back to us. I'm going to use the arrow keys now. The start of the look back, or the look left, got the midpoint here. And the first time we lock eyes, I guess it would be close. So we're bringing all the keys to their extremes. When we get into Maya, I might get rid of these, but it's good to have them now. So let's say when my foot leaves the floor, got it when it's touching here. Say when my foot first touches here. I guess that would be this frame when it leaves. I'm going to say settle, and I'm going to say let's put a key actually for how far we go to the right here. This is my Maya scene. It's a clean project animation wise. There's no keys in here. I mean, apart from the default pose my character's in. I also went ahead and took my reference footage into Maya just so we have that for reference. Here is the retargeting window. This is where you can retarget your character, and also this is where Marionette can talk to Maya and get your animation in. All right, so what I'm going to do now is select the control on your character that correlates to what controls that they want you to plug in, and simply click the corresponding control. Right leg IK. I've got mirror selected turned on. I just hit that, it automatically mirrors it. And then I hit connect. Yeah, so that's connected. We're going to go back to Marionette. A new button has appeared, copy to DCC, and we're going to do that. So I've copied that now. Let's go back to Maya. All right, now we've got our keys in Maya. Let's just get the keys in the right area. So here I have plotted in animation from Marionette. He's running in. He stops. It's meant to look left and right. We'll add that in. And he's scared at the end. So we get all of our basic motion with minimal effort in from Marionette. It gives us a clean base to get from. What I'm going to do now is just exaggerate a few frames. Maybe this one. I want his leg to be up. I might want to keel him over. Let's get this foot up. The first thing I want to do when I get the basic motion in from Marionette, exaggerate and push the poses in the way that I want. And then after that, push the timing, as well as inject a few character moments. Let's get more personality into this. These are the type of things in stylized animation that would take a lot of time. Going in and really sculpting those poses. Another thing is that I didn't select the fingers. So I'm going to go in and plot the keys for the fingers as well. And the basic motion always starts with the hips. So the energy and everything from the body, we can always track with the hips. The way I come up and then go down to scream, let's accentuate that with the hips and the COG. In regards to the arms, let's bring them in for a lot of the animation before he comes out and does the big reaction. Okay, so in between here, when he lands, I want his arms a little bit closer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give him a different pose. So from time he comes in, like say 13:27, all the way until 14:10. Let's create a new pose for these arms. Let's have him be a bit more timid, have him be a bit more meek, a bit more scared. Doesn't want his arms out where people can get them. Right, now what we can do is support this heavily with some facial expressions. So he comes in. We probably want a different facial expression for this pose, this meek pose that we just talked about. Let's take the mouth from this. I select the mouth, apply it here. Let's see if we can actually just raise that mouth up to be a bit more reserved, a bit more sad. And then the eyes, see if this one will work. Yeah, maybe that. It comes in, a bit sad, and we want an antic fur. Let's do the extreme of the final expression. This is what the audience is going to be left with. We can have him totally freaking out. We could give him a bit more of a sad mouth, like a sad scream, really getting that stylized feel now. So now what we can do is do the antic, probably be the last thing on the face just to support the blocking, get the idea in. Let's scrunch him up a bit. Okay, we can hit the face a little bit earlier just to support. Let's say this frame here that's just given us. So if you see the scene cam, he comes in. He screams. And we can support that probably with a camera move. Let's get a bit dramatic, closer to him. So The motion we've got from Marionette, we can have it underneath, you know, like the legs moving. But that stuff we get for free can really support the performance here, even though it's not seen directly in the camera. It's felt. I'm thinking I want to add a few background characters to add to the anxiety of our main character. So what I've got here is it was just past the first stage of blocking. There's definitely things that can be pushed and pulled. So this would be a really good time to show your lead or supervisor. But the basic process of using Marionette for me and my workflow definitely saved me a few hours on the front end between looking at your reference and sculpting the poses. I've got to a stage where I can definitely show the intent of the shot and have a good canvas to work from in terms of creativity. And yeah, I think it's in a good place to build from. Within the few hours that we've been